All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's NASCAR Xfinity Series drive for the Cura 250 at the Charlotte Roval in the elimination race of the round of 12 of the playoffs. We're just tuning in here for the first time. Apologize for that slight delay. Got home from a golf scramble this afternoon, and my laptop, for whatever reason, was running hot. I didn't even think it was on, so it wouldn't turn on. Now we've got the stream going. Shouldn't have any interruptions going forward, so I apologize for that. We were supposed to start this live stream at 3 before the start of the race, and here we are about 54 minutes later. Just wrapping up stage one here today. Justin Allgaier has won the first stage of the race at the Roval. There are cautions this weekend for both the Xfinity and Cup Series races. During the stage ends, we have not seen that in road courses this year, but NASCAR made another rule change during the season for the playoff race at the Roval specifically to still have stage cautions, so that way every race in the playoffs has the stage yellows, and this wouldn't be the only outlier. Justin Allgaier with winning the stage. Daniel Hemrick ends up finishing second in stage one. Sheldon Creed in third. Parker Kligerman fourth. Austin Hill fifth. Chandler Smith in sixth. Sammy Smith seventh. Sam Mayer eighth. Jeb Burton ninth, and Josh Bilicki rounded out the top 10, receiving stage points in that first stage. The point standings coming into the race today, two drivers locked themselves in with a win in the first two races of the round. Justin Allgaier getting a win at Bristol, and John Hunter Nemechek getting a win 2 weeks ago at Texas Motor Speedway, locked himself in. Cole Custer was plus 63 points coming into the race today. Austin Hill plus 44 points. Chandler Smith 32 points to the good, and Sammy Smith plus 18 points. On the cutoff line right now, Sheldon Creed came in just a single-digit number, 9 points above the cutoff line. Daniel Hemrick just 1 point ahead of Parker Kligerman in that first stage. Jeb Burton minus 19 points can still point his way in, as well as Josh Berry minus 27 points, and Sam Mayer minus 34. Now, it is worth noting that Mayer was leading this race up until the green flag pit stops in the late laps of stage one before pit road closed. He still got 3 stage points, finishing 8th in the stage, but comparative to some of those other drivers on the cutoff line, would have liked to have received more. There was a chance that maybe he could have stayed out to win the stage rather than, pitting and finishing 8th in the stage. But then you run the risk of course, maybe not getting as good of a finish. And considering he was 34 points below the cutoff line, they went with the strategy to try to go for the win, as it seems like he's got one of the fastest cars in the field. Hopefully for him, that would work out to get him in, but we'll have to wait and see. Make that 6 Chevys at the top of the field at the end of that first stage. Top 7 all stayed out to get some stage points. In fact, all of the top 9 were playoff drivers. The only non-playoff drivers to not get stage points in the first stage was Josh Berry in 11th, Cole Custer in 17th, and John Hunter Nemechek all the way back in 32nd. We'll be seeing pit road open this time by for the field. Just working their way through the infield section of the racetrack right now, and then those top 7 drivers that stayed out to get the stage points will more than likely hit pit road here to take on tires for the first time today, unless we see some split strategies where they stay out and then pit middle of green flag scenario during stage 2. Terry Lewis, KJ Productions, Wade Solinsky, Jim Troyer, Terry Lewis, Bobby Kilmus, and others. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's half over. Well, it's not half over. End of stage 1, though. Yeah, I was having some laptop issues, unfortunately. I definitely need to get a new laptop when the season starts, before the season starts next year. I just had an issue where everything's been kind of snowballing on me with finances here over the last couple of months with the laptop, and then the mic breaking last week YouTube-wise, and then my car having an issue coming back from the Bristol night race a couple weeks ago, and it's just I just can't afford to buy all the things I need right now at once. Shouldn't have any interruptions tomorrow. We will be back for the Charlotte Roval Cup race at 1:30 Eastern Time. And yep, Allgaier does receive a playoff point that carries with him through the round of 8. Belinda Leverett, Joanne C., thanks for tuning in as well. Appreciate all you guys watching here on this mid-afternoon Saturday edition. Just 4 more NASCAR race weekends following this weekend. 2 more races for the Truck Series, 4 more for the Xfinity and Cup Series once we get through the Roval today and tomorrow. I'll try to keep you guys updated on that point situation. As for Daniel Hemrick, who came in 1 point ahead of Parker Kligerman. Hemrick did outpoint Kligerman by 2 points, and Sheldon Creed, who was +9 coming into the day, was 1 ahead of Kligerman. So that means it's a 10-point difference for Sheldon Creed over Parker Kligerman as we run, and Daniel Hemrick would be 2 points ahead of Parker going into stage 2. Sammy Smith was 7th in the stage. He would have dropped back 5 points, so he would be 12 points still. 14 points. Let me get the math right. 15 points for Sammy Smith ahead of Parker Kligerman. Leaders are on pit road.
Air pressure adjustment on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires, as well as one round up on the track bar. You see that chassis wrench. Parker Kligerman also getting a chassis wrench. He documented he could not get the power down like he liked it, Dave.
Mission accomplished for the 10 of Daniel Hemrick. 9 stage points. He needed points coming in on that cut line, so that was good for them. We'll get a slight adjustment for his car. Marty?
Dave, normally when you don't flip the stage, it's a fairly big penalty, but I think everyone on the 17 with Justin Allgaier was a little surprised that so few teams made that strategy call. Allgaier said all it was doing that entire run was concentrating on not sliding the tires. They hold serve here on Pierre Roderick, but they think they'll restart around 13th or so. That's not too bad for doing that move.
A couple positions gained for Creed, Austin Hill, as well as Jeffer.
So Allgaier wins the race out of the pits, but it looks like he's going to be restarting in the 8th place position. Again, Sam Mayer will be the leader on the restart. It looks like Riley Hurst as well is going to be right there with him at the front of the field. Mayer should be the only playoff driver up towards the front of the field. Him and Josh Berry, in fact, both on the same strategy, looking to start up towards the front. Bond1771, thanks for tuning in, as well as Mystical Bandit and Frank Powers, also welcome. Can't watch it, so listening, keeping up to date, what's going on. Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you tuning in. I'll tell you what, life better turn around here pretty soon, because the last month and a half, I have had some crappy luck, let me tell you. It can be worse, but it ain't good either. What is good is hopefully this race. Up to this point, it's been pretty straightforward. It was a nice little battle for the lead between Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier off the start. Allgaier did start on the pole for this one. My pick to win the race was Sam Mayer coming in. Not just saying that because he looks like a contender early, but he has won 2 road course races this year. Qualified on the front row as well. Track position does matter with road courses. I'd say more so with the Cup Series and what you'll see with the Xfinity cars this weekend. You'll see a little bit more passing. Those that ended up staying out to get the stage points on the first stage, I think will have a much better chance of trying to drive through the field in today's race than what we'll see tomorrow. So you might not see as many drivers try that kind of strategy, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, a lot tighter on the points battle for a lot of drivers on the Cup side versus the Xfinity side. There's a few drivers with basically must-win situations coming into this one. I'll enlarge the screen a little bit for you guys so maybe you can see a slight bit more of the leaderboard. Hopefully I didn't enlarge it too much. Only way to watch, stream it. Only one I found, kids talking over the race about iPhones. That's not what you want. Yeah, we talk about the race right here. They'll be getting the one-to-go signal this time by. The choose rule's still in play, as we've seen on road courses for the first time this season. Mayer will be the control car on the restart.
Pretty clean exchange on the right sides, but he has a little bit of trouble releasing the jack. You see, he kind of has to give it a couple, 2 or 3 turns to get the release. Because of that, he lost a position. Then right here, going out, the 38 was coming in, going slow. Parker gets on board, and I just don't think he knew where the 38 was coming in. The 38 was definitely slow enough. Kind of unfortunate there wasn't any more damage. I'm sure the 38 had no idea there was someone to his left.
That almost ended up maybe fortunate for Parker because you're not supposed to pass somebody on the left, and he looked like he was trying to pass on
Leaving
the
you
left.
can. Yeah. You can't leave it, just not coming in. So leaving, he could pass on the left. He could go wherever he wants. His bigger concern is Joe Graff Jr. probably had no idea there was someone to his left, so he was going to pit regardless. Could have turned into damage.
I don't think there was any damage involved there, so very fortunate for Parker Kligerman. The points as we run right now shows looks. Geez, screen's a little iffy on my end right now. Looks like an 8-point differential between Sheldon Creed and Daniel Hemrick, but of course we got the restart coming up here. And Cole Custer is, as of right now, running in the third place position. So it looks like Justin Allgaier going to restart right around 12th place after winning the race off pit road. I was thinking he was going to restart in 8th, but it looked like more than that actually ended up pitting before the end of the last stage. So 12th place is where Allgaier is going to line up. A little bit of a blister on somebody's tires. Looks like Cole Custer's tires. Had a flat spot going on there. He made it, though, caution-free through the first stage of racing. 20 laps of the first stage today, also 20 laps in Stage 2, and 27 laps in the final stage, making up the 67-lap race length. Nearly double in length as the race tomorrow will be 109 laps with the same configuration. Mayer and Barry, I almost said the SHR cars up at the front of the field. It is not. It is the SHR cars in row 2. But the JRM cars up at the front of the field of Mayer and Barry. Again, Custer and Herbst in row 2. Brandon Jones up there also on this strategy. Justin Allgaier was the only Junior Motorsports Chevrolet to stay out. He received a playoff point, and I think a lot of that has to do with him already being locked into the next round. I'm sure if he's in contention to get a playoff point in Stage 2 as well, he will do it. Too fast exiting pit road for Jeb Burton, so he'll have to restart at the tail end of the field for this restart. He is still one of the playoff drivers coming into this one. In a must-win situation as well. Green flag back in the air. A little contact on the front row between Mayer and Barry as they were getting up to speed after coming together there at about the start-finish line. 3 wide to the inside goes the 0-0 of Custer, but then he backs out of it before the field enters into turn 2. And Mayer's going to be able to pull clear back down to the bottom lane in turns 3 and 4. As they go through the horseshoe, Josh Berry will continue on in second place, clearing Cole Custer. Herbst followed behind the 0-0 of Cole Custer in 4. So single file through about the top 4 or 5 cars now after that little bit of a shaky start getting going there following the restart zone. Brandon Jones, John Hunter Nemechek side by side for position in the top 10 right now as well as they run just outside the top 5. Mayer back out in front of the field for the time being. Sheldon Creed stuck on the outside. Somebody challenging to the bottom lane. It looked like that was Sammy Smith in the 18 looking to make a pass on him and then backing up, realizing he wasn't going to be able to make that pass. Into the backstretch chicane. Couple cars side by side in the back half of the top 10. Justin Allgaier making a move and making a pass. A couple other cars behind him were also side by side, but mostly getting through unscathed. Looked like Mayer just kind of squeezed Barry a little bit wide going through that restart. He must have spun the tires a little bit and just kind of kept spinning them outwards after coming out of that final corner on the front stretch chicane. A little bit of a weird spot to have that restart in. This is a new restart zone. Usually we would restart in the oval zone, which is different from obviously every lap that we would usually see ran, during this road course layout. But this year we will be restarting in the actual chicane itself. And you are able to make passes prior to the start-finish line once you get into that restart zone. Very similar to the restart zone that we had at Indianapolis in the final corner there, as well as the Chicago street course layout earlier this summer. Mayer with a 1-second lead over Barry now as of the last time and scoring loop. And showing Sammy Smith on screen right now in the 18 car. He's outside the top 10. He's got a whole line of traffic behind him, but kind of a big gap with the cars in front of him, so not looking to potentially get any more positions out of there. A little bit of damage on somebody at the back of the pack. It looks like the 43 car of Ryan Elsie got ran into the right rear corner panel by somebody on that last restart. No major tire smoke going on there. And haven't noticed anybody dropping off the track since. Big block there by Sheldon Creed. Thought better of it. Goes back to the outside. Inside lane is opened up. Going to be 3 wide into turn 2 as the 10 of Daniel Hemrick is going to pass 2 cars in one corner there. Sheldon Creed still stuck side by side. I can't tell who that is. It's like Kaz Gralla, the 26 is who he was battling with. Gralla holding up Creed just a little bit. Actually, it looked like Creed was holding him up because he went to make the block on the front stretch, which led for a very tight angle for both cars getting into the first turn. And then exiting that corner, they didn't get off nearly as well as the car that was single file in line behind him of Hemrick, and then Hemrick ended up making that pass in turn 2. Sheldon Creed is going to be able to battle back on the 26, as it looked like Gralla was going to be able to make the pass right around turn 7 and 8. Could not. Up on the oval 1 and 2 now. Creed holds strong, and Gralla trying to get that draft off of his back bumper and try to get a pull into the backstretch chicane. So he closes the gap into the braking zone down to a half a car length. Sheldon Creed a little bit steadier, not slipping the tires as much in the middle of the corner, and does gap Gralla by a couple car lengths, getting back now into ovals 3 and 4. So that battle for position, again, is for about 10th place for that final stage point spot. And showed a little contact, it looked like, between Allgaier and Creed that last lap after Allgaier had jumped off the curb, which might have slowed Creed's lap time down and allowed for Gralla to close in, and obviously for Daniel Hemrick to make those couple of passes. Parker Kligerman, after a slow pit stop on his team's end, is currently 14th. So Hemrick, who is 2 points above Kligerman on that final cutoff spot coming into the stage, is unfortunately right now going to be more than that ahead of him as he's looking to get a couple of stage points in. Parker Kligerman no longer in the top 10. But that can shuffle around quite a bit considering who may pit, who may not pit come the end of stage 2. We're only on the 8th lap of this stage currently, racing to lap 40. Lap 28 overall. Your top 10 currently to this point in stage 2 holds Sam Mayer with a 1.6 second lead over Josh Berry in second. Cole Custer is in third place as of right now, 2.5 seconds off the lead. 3.2 seconds back is Riley Herbst in fourth. Alex Obey with a good run in fifth place, 3.8 seconds off the lead. John Nemechek is sixth, 4.4 seconds off the lead. Brandon Jones is 4.8 seconds back in seventh. Justin Allgaier still in eighth place, 5.1 seconds back. 6.6 seconds back is Daniel Hemrick in ninth. And Sheldon Creed rounds out the top 10. He is 8 seconds off the race lead. You can watch this race on your local NBC affiliate if you were wondering where you can watch it TV-wise. Tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race will also be on NBC. Side-by-side commercial break. NASCAR nonstop right now with 12 laps to go in stage number 2. Jeff Sperry, the Academy, thanks for tuning in. Bobby Kilmus, also welcome to the stream. Sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you guys have not done so yet. We're up to 21 likes on the stream. The slightly late start, I didn't get a poll up in the chat for you guys to vote for who you think will win today's race. I usually close that at the end of stage 2, so that's why I didn't want to open one up, because I'd end up having to close it within a handful of laps, about a dozen laps from now already. Kligerman working his way by Gralla, or at least trying to. Actually, it's not Gralla. That would be Mosak in the 24 car that he's battling with. I saw the rookie stripes on there and second-guessed myself. Mosak is in 13th. Not for a point right now, but it could be for a point depending on how many of those top cars in the field pit. And I'm almost wondering if you're Parker Kligerman, you might want to play this strategy going forward based off of where exactly is Daniel Hemrick going to be running at the end of the stage depending on how many cars in front of him pit. If you can get to within a couple positions of him, I think the way to go is just stay on the same strategy, but otherwise you might have to do opposite. If you want to gain those much-needed points to get in, because I don't really think Hemrick nor Kligerman really have cars capable of winning this race today, which we have seen Parker Kligerman in contention to win road course races this season. He was leading at one point on that final restart at Road America, ended up with a top 3 run and also was leading there later, at least in contention and battling for the lead late at Portland when he ended up finishing in the top 5. So he's had some strong runs. Just can't always get the finishes out of it, or get the wins out of it, but gets good finishes. Nevertheless, today a little bit off for that 48 team. He did finally get by Mosak that last lap. Looks like Myatt Snyder and Austin Hill also getting by Connor Mosak. A 2.5 second plus lead now for Sam Mayer over Josh Berry at the front of the field. Cole Custer slipping back to 3.1 seconds off the lead in third. Riley Herbst still in fourth, 3.9 seconds back. And again, Alex LeMay still in fifth, 4.8 seconds off the lead. Great run for that 91 team. A little bit of contact getting through the backstretch chicane there between Austin Hill and Myatt Snyder. Allows for Mosak to get to the outside of the 19 car of Snyder. 19 team still in the Owners' Championship after a few wins earlier this season. 1 win apiece for Ryan Truex, Ty Gibbs winning in that car, and Denny Hamlin also winning in that car at Darlington. So some good playoff points there, and Snyder trying to have a good run. So we'll see if he can move that team into the next round of the playoffs. It's going to be a little bit tough. Trevor Bayne getting into that wreck at Bristol put him in a nearly must-win situation, even with the playoff points at hand coming into the round. Nobody touching Sam Mayer on the racetrack right now. Justin Allgaier on speed seemed to have something for Sam Mayer in that first stage, but they're on multiple different strategies right now, so that's why you see Allgaier at 8th and Mayer out in front of traffic and in front of the field. Those definitely seem to be the two faster cars in the race to this point. We'll see if any adjustments could be made to help the balance for some of these other cars in the field, considering that we will still have 1 to 2 more stops left the rest of the way. Fuel window right around 30 laps, so it's a good chance that pitting late in the stage or during the stage break, you could go on fuel to the very end. If we get a caution at any point in the final stage, I could split the strategy up a little bit more, depending on who decides to pit for tires and who doesn't. Big mistake there for the 91 of Alex LeMay. Went a little bit wide in the front stretch chicane. He's going to lose a few positions. I'm not sure if he got up against the outside wall or not. It looked like he might have. He was definitely slow. And yeah, he definitely got against the outside wall. There's a lot of damage to the back of the 91. So LeMay, who was having a great run in fifth, catches the right rear corner panel, bashes it into the outside wall. Maybe had a big hop off of one of those turtles. Whatever the case was, lost quite a bit of ground. And is still losing ground. I'm sure the aerodynamics on that thing not very good. Going to be creating a lot more drag during the higher speed portions of the racetrack. Just this last lap alone, he's already fallen back to 11th place and outside the top 10. After running in 5th that lap prior. LeMay out of St. Albert, Quebec in Canada. Known as a good road course racer, he's had solid runs, and I think he actually had a top 10 at Road America earlier this year, as well as the Chicago Street Race. Top 5 run going for him there until he makes a mistake. I have to see another replay of that. I still can't tell exactly how he went as wide as he did. Still staying on the track, not coming to pit road as he loses another spot in the front stretch chicane to Kaz Gralla in the 26. Tried to undercut the corner to get back alongside Gralla. It didn't work. Kaz still going strong. Parker Kligerman looking to get a spot now in LeMay, which would be for 11th. Josh Berry has backed it into the wall. Trying to see where that is. Looks like it's right around turn 3. Yeah, turn 3. Josh Berry ended up in the wall. Not a lot of damage to the race car. I think he got it back down and slowed up in time before there was significant damage, but was parked there for a minute before getting going. He is now running in front of Austin Hill in the 13th place position. So Berry, who is in second, has a problem in turn 3, loses the race car, drops back 10 positions in the running order, and that will move Cole Custer now up to second place. Riley Herbst up to third. So your top 5 following the Berry slide there has Sam Mayer leading, Cole Custer second, Riley Herbst third, John Nemechek fourth, and Brandon Jones is in 5th. Justin Allgaier, the Stage 1 winner, in 6th place right now. Sam Mayer has led the most laps to this point in the race tonight, as he has now led 25 laps. Allgaier led the first 8 in this race. Well, not the first 8. He led a couple laps at the beginning of the race. It looks like he led the first 3 laps of the race, and then ended up leading 5 more laps to the end of Stage 1, and then a couple laps under caution during the stage break as well before he hit pit road. Down to 7 laps to go, though, for right now in Stage 2. Parker Kligerman with a couple positions up for grabs in front of him. He has caught Kaz Gralla and Sheldon Creed. If he can pass both cars, that would put him just one spot behind Daniel Hemrick, who he is racing with for that final playoff spot. We are about halfway home, 34 laps down, 33 to go. And the drive for the Cure 250 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway at Roval. Six to go now. Big wiggle there by the 26 of Gralla. Opens the door up into turns 3 and 4 for Kligerman to get his car to the inside lane, and he is going to pull clear. Kligerman moves up to the 9th place position with 6 to go in the stage. Last lap, he's about 3 to 3.5 seconds behind Hemrick, so he's probably not going to catch him to the end of the stage. I think you're in the ballpark right now if you're Parker Kligerman. You have to stay on the same strategy as Daniel Hemrick to the end of this stage. Honestly, I think you stay out to get the stage points regardless if Hemrick does or doesn't. Then that way, if he did pit, you would only have to finish within like 5-6 positions behind him, and you'd still end up getting that final spot on points. But I would like to think Hemrick would stay out and get the stage points with where he is running as well. So it's going to be very big for Kligerman to have to pass Creed now in these closing laps of Stage 2. Sam Mayer now out to over a 5-second lead over Cole Custer. Custer's won 2 road course races this year as well as Mayer. Custer's earlier in the summer months at Portland and the Chicago Street Race. So 2 drivers who have won 2 road course races running 1-2 at the front of the field. Following Custer in 2nd, Riley Herbst is in 3rd. John Hunter Nemechek is in 4th. Brandon Jones 5th. Justin Allgaier 6th. Daniel Hemrick 7th. Sheldon Creed 8th. Parker Kligerman 9th. And Kaz Gralla is in 10th. Kligerman with a run off turn 4, which was the same area of the racetrack he just got by Gralla the last lap, has now closed to the back bumper of Sheldon Creed, and they'll battle for position through the rest of the infield portion of this road course. Kligerman in the same line as Creed. Going to outbrake the corner entry. It looks like getting back up onto the oval, which allows for Creed to get back to the gas a little bit sooner than Kligerman. Building a gap now. Kligerman trying to stay in the draft in the longer on-throttle portion of the racetrack. And we'll see how much Kligerman's going to try to outbrake him into the backstretch chicane. Closing in quite a bit. Very late into the braking zone. Goes to 48 versus the 2. Slightly wider corner entry getting into that first turn of that backstretch chicane as well. Kligerman definitely has closed that gap, and again is all over the back of the 2, headed to the front stretch chicane this time. Kligerman a little bit wider, trying to catch some clean air into the braking zone. Now widens the arc out back into the corner, gets to the back of the 2, gives him a little bump. Off the turtles go both race cars, and Kligerman is there. Looking to the inside into turn 1. Creed going to get the drive off on the outside, but Kligerman side drafts him door to door now into turn 2. Kligerman going to be on the outside of 3 and 4. He has passed in the bottom lane of 3 and 4 a couple times. We'll see what he does on the outside. He'll get a better drive off, but the drive in he will be lacking. He gets a good enough drive off through the middle of the corner from 3 into 4. He is all clear, and Parker Kligerman will now move to 8th. So as he moves up to 8th place, Sheldon Creed now obviously back to 9th. Daniel Hemrick is in 6th. Parker Kligerman make that in 7th. As Sammy Smith came to pit road that last lap. So Sammy Smith pitting a lap earlier than some of those other cars that were expecting to hit pit road this time by. And that has allowed now for Hemrick and Kligerman to move up another spot this lap. 3 to go in the stage at the line. Sam Mayer will get to the stripe first. Cole Custer following back. Again, he's over 5.5 seconds behind him. John Hunter Nemechek in 3rd. Is 9.7 seconds off the race leader. Riley Herbst also coming onto pit road.
Get 4 Goodyear tires for his Mustang and fill it full of fuel. And the 21 is on pit road as well. Playoff driver Austin Hill brings his car to pit lane. He wanted about 3/4 more of the last adjustment they did. The car had been too tight. Still that way, Marty.
Why did Josh Berry spin a moment ago? He's on pit road right now, Dave. He says he's having some power steering issues with the 8 car. He was in 2nd, but did not fall out of the top 15. He was 13th when he came to pit road. You will see Sam Mayer come down this time, and Cole Custer as well. They're going to forego that playoff point seed because you pit here, you can make it all the way to the end of the race. So in theory, they're thinking this is our final stop of the day.
So, I agree that this is the final stop of the day. The question is, if not stopping now, you're going to be way back in traffic. We've seen Allgaier still not recover. He's only back to 5th. So the one for sure, as Marty reports, the 0-0 I had a question about because he had advanced. So let's just see who decides to do what. The one, no surprise, Marty reported the 0-0. We'll see if he decides to join. He will. Somebody's going to stay out, though, and get this playoff point. There you go. The Mobile 1 car, red, white, and blue of John Hunter Nemechek's going to stay on the racetrack, and with that, earn a playoff point by winning the stage, and he can keep the lead for 2 more laps.
Marty.
The other interesting thing is that you saw that orange car flash through. Parker Kligerman stayed out to be able to get the stage points as well. Sam Mayer said, I was never full throttle through NASCAR 3 and 4 the entire time. I was really trying to conserve our tires there. Cole Custer said he just couldn't get back to the gas, especially through the infield section. Mayer done with his stop, and he's gone. And Justin Allgaier, you made the point, Steve. They struggled to get track position back, so Jim Pullman did not want to put him in that spot again. A little bit longer stop, and now spin on the racetrack ring.
Yeah, the 53 into the wall, too. It looks like Connor Daly.
Left rear tire's flat, and he missed the entrance to pit road.
So now, can he limp all the way around this track? Or is a caution going to come out?
I think the process of both may happen because I don't see him getting all the way back around. They'll come to a stop right here.
Now he's trying to roll, but the caution does come out.
So with that, that'll be a...
That'll end the
Oh,
stage.
yeah, you see the left rear going flat. Nothing Connor Daly could do.
Slides up into the wall. And Steve, they won't restart before the end of the stage, so this is going to put Nemechek winning the stage. Hemrick, Kligerman, Creed, Alex LeVay.
And to Jeff's point earlier about how hard to run on your new Goodyear tires, Jeff, now all the cars that fit it can just ride around under yellow, which is really good because that final stage is a little bit longer, so it's going to be the longest run on tires.
I'm going to give Hemrick, Creed, Kligerman, I'm going to give them all a lot of credit because they all came into this race knowing they were going to try to get stage points. It's one thing to say, hey, I know I need to. It's a whole other thing to do it. And they've done it by running in the front. Like, they didn't just all, not pit from 12th. They've all had great speed today. Every one of these teams of drivers stepped their game up coming into this race knowing they had to.
Those 3 drivers you mentioned at the beginning of the race separated by 9 points between those 3 drivers. And Parker Kligerman, the odd man out, he is the one who was below the cut line prior to the start of the race.
Well, then Steve mentioned it earlier. As good as Sam Mayer is running, if he's able to win this race, I mean, it's made that point battle even more difficult. That's what it's so hard to know what to do in these races. You just don't know who's going to get. Somebody's going to come out and win. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Sam Mayer, Jeff Burton, the eights, Josh Berry, any one of those, and that pushes the 10 of Daniel Hemrick out of the top eight.
When they come down to pit road, this is going to cycle them back into the middle of the field. So for me, for Creed, Hemrick, and Clearman, restarts. Making as much ground as you can on restarts, trying to outdo, the person you're battling at the bubble line on restarts. There may be one to start that stage 3, and that's it. You may get a few more sprinkled in that stage 3, but you have to be gaining ground and doing a better job in intense conditions. And the guy that came in here, we haven't really said his name all day, Sammy Smith. We thought he came in here pretty safe, but those guys behind him in points have gotten more points than he has, and it's going to put some pressure on him to being able to finish this race off, Marty.
We saw a little hiccup on the Justin Allgaier stop a moment ago. Justin just asked on the radio, are all the lug nuts tight? Listen in.
Are you sure everything's tight? They say yes. Checking cameras now.
That's something we're going to have to watch for Justin Allgaier. Did they get all the lug nuts tight? They did flip the stage. They'll have the track position, but are all the tires tight? That's the big question.
You see right there the gentleman in the gray Hendrick shirt. That's one of the coaches. He's getting the SD card out of the little camera on the side of the helmet, getting all the information. They'll load it in. They'll take a look at it. They can also look at the air pressure to the pit gun. Every time a lug nut tightens, you kind of see a spike in air pressure. So a lot of different data that the pit crew coaches will go through to try to find some comfort.
And again, the Xfinity Series still 5 lug nuts for the wheels. And Nemechek gets his 10th stage win this year.
So John Hunter Nemechek going to win a stage here in stage number 2. Daniel Hemrick ends up 2nd. Parker Kligerman 3rd. Sheldon Creed 4th. Alex LeBay in 5th. Sammy Smith in 6th. 7th place for Sam Mayer in the stage. Chandler Smith in 8th. Josh Bilicki 9th. Stephen Parsons. Going to round out the top 10 all receiving stage points here in stage 2. As for the points again coming in, Daniel Hemrick looked like outscored Parker Kligerman by 4 points in the stages combined. So he will be 5 points ahead of the cutoff line as we run right now, considering Hemrick is 1 spot ahead of Kligerman. This stage ending under yellow, of course, with that caution coming out for Connor Daly in the 53 car, having a flat left rear tire going into oval 3 and 4. Couldn't get the car to pit road, slid into the outside wall, and could not make it back around the racetrack. So this is our first caution for incident in the race today at lap 38. This lingers again through the end of stage 2. We'll restart somewhere in the ballpark right around 24, 25 laps to go in the race once all the drivers who have not yet pitted and stayed out to get stage points will be back onto pit road this time. Now, pit road was closed anyway at the time of the caution because they had already received 2 to go, so we weren't going to see any of those cars that did stay out pit before the end of the stage anyway, so the strategy still worked out just as well for them and as predicted for those that did pit early. Sam Mayer was the first car out of the pits of those that pitted early. He scored in 7th right now. He will be the leader when we start stage 3. As we look at the stage points coming into the race today, not the stage points coming into the race today, but we look at the points coming into the race as a whole. Sam Mayer stayed out on the racetrack. He had led a lot of laps, is in the best position to win the race based off of strategy. If he does win, he was 34 points below the cutoff line. Sacrificing any sort of chance at stage points today means that he is definitely putting himself in a must-win situation, as it was near must-win coming into the day regardless. So if Sam Mayer can get the win, he will vault himself above the cutoff line, and that 5-point buffer Hemrick has on Kligerman will be nullified, and Hemrick will have to catch Sheldon Creed on points, which it is a very tight battle between Hemrick and Creed. In fact, it's a tighter battle between Hemrick and Creed than what it is between Hemrick and Kligerman to this point in the race because of how many more stage points Hemrick has outscored than the 2 rather than just the 48. So again, that'll be a very interesting watch here as we get further and further along this one. NASCAR Vintage 17, thanks for tuning in. Evan Jacoby, also welcome into the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you guys that tunes in every Saturday and Sunday for these live commentary live streams. And here come the rest of the cars on the pit road for more than likely the final pit stop of the day.
So tight, the front end does not want to
stage. He can't get pointed exiting the chicanes. There's speed there. They want adjustment for that. And Daniel Hemrick, 9 more stage points. Will that be enough to get him through to the next round? We shall see. The front end is snuck up on the car there. He had an adjustment for that.
And again, race off pit road for those that didn't come early before the caution came out. You see a couple guys gaining some.
So Daniel Hemrick wins the race out of the pits. Parker Kligerman also up a spot along with Hemrick, and Nemechek, who was leading at the end of that last stage, loses 2 positions on pit road with his 4-tire stop. That's the 10th stage win of the year for Nemechek after winning stage 2, and it was the 12th stage win of the season for Justin Allgaier, who won stage 1 today, each with the top 2 and stage wins this season, and the only 2 with double digits in that total. And of course, they were the only 2 drivers that were locked in to the next round. Through this round, we still got, of course, 6 spots open going into the race. Now, Cole Custer has scored enough stage points today. He has locked himself in on points through the first 2 stages, so Cole Custer, again, has been locked into the round of 8 of the playoffs as well, based off of points. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the same goes for Austin Hill in the 21, who stayed out to get some stage points in the first couple stages also. So looks like Austin Hill going to be locked in. So Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed, Daniel Hemrick would be the last 3 above the cutoff line if, say, Mayer were not to win. If Mayer wins, that would bump either Hemrick or Creed out as of right now. And I think they were tied on points through the stages. So it's just who beats who at that point. As of right now, Hemrick will restart, it looks like, in 21st, Creed 24th. A lot more cars short-pitted this stage versus stage 1. So those drivers that did stay out to get stage points going to be starting much further back in the pack. Again, Hemrick won the race out of the pits there behind, or just in front of Kligerman, and they're going to be outside the top 20. So it'll be interesting to see how many positions they can gain, if they can gain enough all the way to the end. We're going to take our first ad break of the race today. Once again, thank you for everybody tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Keeping our live commentary coverage going here. Average race speed at this point, 81.36 miles per hour. Seen a couple lead changes. Only one on the track between Mayer and Allgaier. Allgaier leading the first few laps of the race today. Sam Mayer got around him at lap 5. And then Virtue of Green Flag pit stops. Allgaier wins the first stage. Mayer reclaims the lead as he had pitted early before the end of the stage, led a bunch of laps. Pitted early before the end of stage 2 again, which gave John Hunter Nemechek the lead to win the last stage. And now Mayer back out in front as they head to the choose rule. No, they actually did not head to the choose rule. We will not be getting the 1-to-go signal quite yet. Getting close. We have not quite gotten the 1-to-go signal. 109 lapper tomorrow. Should be a fun NASCAR Cup Series race at the Charlotte Roval. Excited to bring you guys the flag-to-flag coverage of that one. Again, our pre-race coverage will begin at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. And that race again on your local NBC affiliate.
Steve, I remember at Richmond, we got on the elevator with Scott, and he was in a wheelchair, and we're like, man, my goodness, how are you doing? 150 miles an hour is how fast he was going when the brakes failed on that car.
Yeah, I mean, we know what that turn 1 is. Brad Keselowski had an accident in that same corner testing years ago, and it was great to see Scott at the racetrack, and he's what this, we talk a lot about this series for drivers and things like this, but let's not forget what this is for owners as well. This is a great place for an owner like Scott to figure out his way into NASCAR. He's been a huge proponent of racing in NASCAR, and it's been so much fun to see his excitement as his car is now in the playoffs. He's living every pass, every lap.
Yep, enjoying every single moment and hoping that his car and driver can make it into the next round. As we see the choose, and the 1 will be on the outside. The 00 of Cole Custer will be on the inside when they come to turn number 1.
Well, Rick, look at these points. So This right here has Mayer winning this race, and that would automatically advance him into the next round of playoffs. Look at 7, 8, 9, and 10. They are separated by very few points. So what does that mean? That means on these restarts, you've got to go get some. You've got to find a way through Parker Kligerman to go get a lot of spots. Hemrick, Creed, they all have to be exceptionally aggressive. Sammy Smith came in here in pretty good shape, but he only has a 4-point advantage right now. All 4 of these drivers have a ton of pressure on.
Well, remember, every position is a point.
With this new restart zone here in this final chicane, and to watch this as well with the control car down the outside line that you mentioned, Rick. One car's going to be on the driver's right. We'll see if that's an advantage or disadvantage, not only for later in this race, but for the Cup race tomorrow. Everybody learning how to get through this restart zone and how that might benefit one line or the other. So this is a new change up here with the control car.
Pace cars headed to pit road, and we are about to begin green flag racing for stage 3 today. 24 laps to go in the race. On the front row will be Sam Mayer and Cole Custer. Mayer will be on the outside lane for row 1. Inside lane going into the chicane for the restart zone. Green flag back of the air. Mayer was on the inside the last restart, outside this restart. And he is not going to be able to pull clear of Custer going into that first turn, but he does get a great drive off. And he will be able to clear the 0-0 down to the bottom lane into turn 2. Justin Allgaier in third, right behind Custer. Pitted early that last stage. He did not do that through stage 1, and it puts him in position still to potentially win this race. Got to get by Custer quickly to not allow Mayer to pull ahead. Mayer had a 5.9 second lead before he made his green flag stop at lap 37. Custer already getting driven away from by Sam Mayer through the first half of lap 1 under green flag conditions, at least for stage 3. Single file for most of the cars in the field except for Parker Kligerman trying to make a move on Anthony Alfredo to the inside lane, coming up off of Oval 1, clears him through Oval 2, headed to the back straightaway chicane. Kligerman is up in front of Daniel Hemrick as well. Hemrick beat him out of the pits, but it looked like Kligerman beats him on the restart and gets by another car quickly. Parker was 7 points to the negative on the cutoff line from Sheldon Creed, with Sam Mayer out in front of the field, shifting that cutoff line just a bit. If Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier were to run Mayer down here before the end of this race and get the win for themselves, Sam Mayer would not have the points applicable to be able to advance into the playoffs. So again, he is in a must-win situation. If he gets bumped down, then the battle right now would be between Hemrick and Kligerman once again. But for the moment, Sheldon Creed's the last driver in, and it's by just one single point right now over Daniel Hemrick, with Creed running in 17th and Daniel Hemrick running in 13th, just in front of him. 5 positions in front of him. Like somebody might have went wide and clipped the grass with their left side tires exiting turn 4 that lap. Still seeing some of that dust settling. No major damage it looked like from this restart from anybody at the back of the pack like we saw on the restart prior. It's just a second restart total in the race today. Daniel Hemrick now making a pass on Anthony Alfredo, picking up a point. Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier still nose to tail. Allgaier has not gotten around Custer since the restart. He stayed in line right behind him, and Sam Mayer's out to a 1 second lead now over the 0-0 in second. Allgaier needs to get by Custer as quickly as possible. Could be saving his tires just a little bit, running a slower pace behind him. Same goes for Custer versus Mayer. Although these guys not really going much further on these tires than what they would have on tires in prior runs, maybe an extra 6 laps if it were to stay green to the end, but that would be about it. All 3 wins for Mayer, if he wins this race today in his Xfinity Series career and season, would be on road courses. This is the only road course race in the playoffs, but it comes at a vital time on the cutoff line. Did not have a good first 2 races of the round. A DNF at Bristol, a not-so-good run at Texas, and here he is in a must-win situation, and he may get the job done. The way it looks right now, he is leaning that way. 1.4 seconds is the advantage now over the 00 of Custer. He's really gapped him this lap. And Allgaier doesn't have a lot of pressure from Riley Herbst right behind him, as well as Kaz Gralla in fifth. There's a little bit of a gap between third, fourth, and fifth place positions on the track. Sheldon Creed, trying to make a pass on Chandler Smith in the 19th place spot. Kligerman catching up to the 19 now. This would move him into the top 10 if he can get by Myatt Snyder. Into turn 1, and the best corners for Kligerman on the racetrack, it seems to be in turns 3 and 4. That's where he's made the most passes. Coming up on those sets of corners right now. Enters in. He just rolls the middle a little bit quicker. He's going to gain ground on the 19 of Snyder in front of him there as well. Snyder slipping the rear tires, getting back to the gas, following the curb. Kligerman again closing. Gets maybe into the back of the 19. Tough to tell if he got in the back of him or maybe the 19 scrubbed the inside wall a little bit. Definitely seems to be a lot looser with the rear of his car versus the 48 of Kligerman when they're picking up the throttle. Commercial break right now on NBC. Sam Mayer leads this race. Cole Custer is second. We'll go through the rest of the full field running order rundown with 21 laps to go. So Justin Allgaier sits in third. Riley Herbst fourth. Kaz Gralla fifth. Austin Hill in sixth. Josh Berry seventh. Connor Mosack eighth. Ryan Segan ninth. Myatt Snyder in 10th. Parker Kligerman in 11th. Daniel Hemrick is 12th. Jeb Burton in 13th. Sammy Smith in 14th. Jordan Taylor is 15th. Sheldon Creed in 16th, John Hunter Nemechek in 17th, Chandler Smith 18th, Sage Karam 19th, and Stephen Parsons is 20th. 21st is Leland Honeyman, Raja Karuk 22nd, Josh Bilicki 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, Anthony Alfredo 25th, Parker Retzlaff 26th, 27th is Blaine Perkins, Alex Lemay in 28th, Brandon Jones back at 29th, and Brendan Poole is 30th. Kyle Weatherman 31st, Kyle Sieg 32nd, Joe Graff Jr. in 33rd place, 34th place to this point is Alex Jeanette. Josh Williams, last car in the lead lap at 35th. Ryan Ellis a lap down at 36th. Connor Daly still in the race after that blown left rear in 37th. And Brett Moffitt is 7 laps down at 38th. Must have pulled off the track there towards the end of stage 2, whatever the case was. He is in last. Cole Custer picking up a little bit that last lap on Sam Mayers. Cut the lead down to about 9/10 of a second again, as we're down to just 19 laps to go. We'll take another ad break as you're listening live to the Drive for the Cure 250 at the Charlotte Roval for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on KRC. Once again, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you guys have not done so on the stream to this point. Crazy racing at Talladega last week on the channel. Check out the highlights of the finish of both races if you have not done so yet, of my commentary from the end of that race. Good finishes in both of those ones. Both ending under green. How about that for a Talladega race weekend, that both races end under green? NASCAR schedules have come out this weekend for all 3 series as well. We'll probably talk about that in our pre-race coverage of tomorrow's Cup Series race, along with the predictions as usual for that said race. Parker Kligerman going to make a pass on the racetrack there. Finally gets by Myatt Snyder after sitting behind him for a couple laps. That allows for Daniel Hemrick to close the gap now on Snyder as he rides in line behind him. Kligerman might have taken a little bit longer than he would have liked to get by that 19. Daniel Hemrick going to try to move him. Not going to move him out of the way, though, into turn 7 through 8. A little wiggle by both cars as they get back up onto the oval.
Only 19 laps to go here in Xfinity Series racing at the Charlotte Roval. Want to take a look at the Toyota driver update. Kaz Gralla, the highest running Toyota right now, in 5th. Connor Mosack is 8th. Myatt Snyder behind the wheel of the 19, running in the 10th position. Sammy Smith is 14th, and John Hunter Nemechek has not been a race-winning day for John Hunter Nemechek as he's back in 17th. But again, John Hunter Nemechek, the winningest driver in the Xfinity Series this year, 7 wins already, and 1 in this round, so he is advancing into the round of 8.
Mike Snyder in this 19 car is doing a really nice job. Parker Kligerman just got by him, had to make an aggressive move on your braking zone to make it happen. And now Hemrick's got to answer the call. There it is, another aggressive move.
Going around the 45.
Yeah, going through the chicane, 44 to 45 got together. One missing the curves as we watch this battle here continue. Mike Snyder fighting as hard as he can to keep these positions. Hemrick knows he needs to get by because currently there's 2 points out. And that's a spot right there, and that's a point. So Hemrick's got to push some buttons here. Not my job to worry about Hemrick's points, I can tell you that. But this is a good run right here by Hemrick. It'll be a heavy battle under braking getting into this rear chicane. Just cannot let Myatt outbreak you. Myatt gives a spot up down the back. Jeff Burton now to the 19.
Jeff Burton in the 27, chasing after Myatt Snyder in that 19.
Jeff's done a great job today. Making some good time on that number 27 car. See Sammy Smith behind Jeb. Sammy's only 5 points to the good at the moment. Any mistake, and you could be out.
I do want to mention that 9 of Brandon Jones had a speeding penalty on pit road earlier. So I want to make sure that penalty was acknowledged.
Parker Kligerman getting by Ryan Sieg right here for a position. Good run by Sieg.
Every time Parker Kligerman makes a pass, you see the number get lower. It's -3 now behind Creed. And Hemrick also fighting as well in the 10. So as soon as Hemrick gets by that 39, it's going to be a tie again between Creed and Hemrick.
And Creed is back there. You mentioned the 18 of Sammy Smith. That's who the 2 of Creed is behind currently. You see he's only a couple car lengths behind him, but Sammy Smith is not going to be an easy pass.
And there's a lot of fast cars right there behind both these drivers. Nemechek, Joe Taylor in the 11, Chandler Smith. So there's still some possibilities for them to lose a few more positions. Sammy Smith, in particular, if he doesn't maintain his track position, that could get him even closer to that bubble. It's a tough spot for Sammy, right? He's 5 points to the good. He's afraid to make a mistake because he's in it. He's got plenty of gap, right? But if you don't push hard enough, they get by you and now you're out. So you don't want to make a mistake, but if you get too complacent, you get yourself in trouble that way as well.
Kim.
And Sheldon Creed and his team described this race to me as trying to find the perfect balance of caution and aggression. And right now, might need to dial up the aggression level just a little bit because one of their goals today was to stay close to the 10 of Daniel Hemrick and the 48 of Parker Kligerman. Both those cars running a handful of cars ahead of Creed, who's currently in the 15th position.
The reason it's so tight right now around the cut line, and as a matter of fact, it's tied between Hemrick and Creed, is because Sam Mayer is leading. Sam was below all of these drivers. And now we have the 08 around. We'll bring out a caution.
That's a bad spot, too. Kind of a blind spot. Oh, wow. Get out of there, not an issue. No yellow.
Very close there for Stephen Parsons. Oh, and looks like Parsons may have an issue. He's very loose as he came out on turn 8 there and onto the big track.
I think it just, when you spin out, it kind of makes the tires mad, picks up all that debris. Right here to watch Creed.
Creed behind Sammy Smith.
Creed's going to have an opportunity right here in the braking zone to go to the inside.
Zuckerman pass Connor Bozak.
That puts Kligerman 2 points back. This is crazy. It's a point battle.
Yeah, the tiebreaker's going to go right now. If it's between Hemrick and Creed, it goes to Hemrick because he has a second place finish in this round.
Sammy's done a really good job here, but you can see that he just lacks a tiny bit of that experience in racecraft to be able to make this pass on the 19. Everyone in front of him with more time, more experience in this series to be able to get around the 19 car. Whereas Sammy Smith sort of trapped behind him without the tools mentally to be able to make that pass.
Let's give Creed the opportunity here.
Creed, Hemrick, Kligerman separated by 2 points, 2 positions on the racetrack.
14 laps to go at the Charlotte Roval in the Drive for the Cure 250 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Right now, Sam Mayer currently leading by 1.1 seconds over Cole Custer. Cole Custer sits in second, Justin Allgaier in third, Riley Herbst in fourth, Kaz Gralla fifth, Austin Hill sixth, Josh Berry seventh, Parker Kligerman ninth, Parker Kligerman rather in eighth, Daniel Hemrick in ninth, and Connor Mosack rounds out the top 10. 11th place is Ryan Sieg, Jeb Burton in 12th. 13th place is Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed 14th, John Hunter Nemechek 15th, Jordan Taylor 16th. 17th place is Chandler Smith, Myatt Snyder 18th, Sage Karam 19th, Josh Balicki is 20th. Raja Caruth in 21st. 22nd place is Alex LeBay. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. 21st is Raja Caruth, Alex LeBay in 22nd, Parker Retzlaff in 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, Anthony Alfredo 25th. 26th is Brandon Jones, Blaine Perkins is 27th, Brendan Poole 28th, Kyle Weatherman 29th, Kyle Sieg in 30th, Stephen Parsons 31st, Joe Graff Jr. 32nd, Alex Jeanette 33rd. Scroll down the screen a little bit here. 34th place is Leland Honeyman. Josh Williams in 35th rounds out the lead lap cars. Ryan Ellis 36th, Connor Daly 37th, and Brett Moffitt rounding out the field 13 laps down now in 38th. I do believe he is in the garage and out of the race today. Circuiting our way down to 13 laps to go in this race. This dog, I swear, I can't stream with this dog in the room anywhere. And it bothers me because I didn't even want a dog to begin with. Person I'm living with happens to be my sister. Got her without me having any say in it. So now we're kind of like stuck with her. I love her, but it's not good for streaming. It's not good for content. It drives me nuts because I don't think you guys want to hear some squeaky toys and some barking going on in the background. Drives me up a wall. All right, as far as the lead goes, Cole Custer's done a great job keeping it to within about 1 second to 1.1 seconds behind Sam Mayer, but if he doesn't start closing in on him, that battle is going to be really non-existent. Justin Allgaier's really fallen off over the course of this run, which was surprising. He was in third behind Custer for a while. He has now fallen to 7th place, 15 seconds off the race lead. Battle for that final playoff spot continues, though, as we are down to 12 laps to go.
It's the Cup Series, sir. At 2 o'clock on NBC, it's Countdown to Green. And 2:30, Cup Series playoffs. With NASCAR America Post Race at 6 o'clock, just after the checkered flag flies. Again, that's streaming on Peacock. And the big news today was Kyle Larson getting into the wall in practice, not being able to qualify, and he will have to start at the back of the field. So Kyle Larson in jeopardy of advancing out of the elimination race tomorrow.
With 12 to go, nothing wrong with Justin Allgaier's car, but a long conversation with Jim Pullman's crew chief and Allgaier. He said, listen, we're not going to win where we're at. We've already advanced. The only thing that matters to us today is winning the race. So, Steve, do you agree with this call? Get pressure tires on, see what you can do. And if a caution comes out, this move will look brilliant.
So they want to come get tires now because, as Maury pointed out, if the caution comes out, you expect some of the field to pit. Probably not all of them. Listen, I don't think he's going to finish better than where he was running in third. Well, there's your yellow, unless you get quite that lucky. I didn't know he should. Good thing it's Vegas next week. Like, they're going to send him up to Las Vegas.
And we're hearing debris on the racetrack is what we're hearing from NASCAR. Don't know where that is yet.
So now we saw Allgaier pit, so he'll cycle back, I don't know, maybe just inside the top 20, which is still going to be a tall task, 12 to go. The fresh tires will absolutely help. The real question, though, is what do you do now? Do you come and get tires? Do you not? If you are Kligerman or Hemrick or Creed, I mean, that's the points battle look at. Sandy Smith. You have to decide, what do you need? Do you have to have tires? There are currently 12 laps on these tires. There's going to be probably 9-ish to go when we take the green. And will we run 9 laps? Or will we continue to see yellows on these road courses, they have a tendency to really stack up.
There you see to bring on the track, just on the inside of that curving, but we see them racing on that curving so much that ends up being an issue. That's the final turn of the chicane here on the front stretch.
I don't know what that is on the racetrack.
They're
bringing in some liquid,
some water or something. It's like maybe a sign that was down there.
And so they went through the chicane, missing the chicane, taking out like a restart zone. And they're held down with those water bags. Didn't use sand, and that's the result.
Okay, so if you're Cole Custer and you had tire issues the last 2 times you're on pit road, do you say, are we okay, or should we come down and get new fresh tires?
Oh, I'm not worried about those tire issues. I'm not sitting in the car. So, I do think those blisters are, they're not the best thing in the world, but I don't believe that the 0, I don't think the 1, there's no way you can give up track position here if you're in the front 5 or 6. No one has moved through the field after these pit stops, so pitting is going to be very difficult. The question isn't what you do, it's what everyone else does. I think Sam Mayer and Cole Custer will absolutely stay out, but at 5th on back comfort tires, it's game over. If 12th on back comfort tires, you're okay. You can protect against 10. That's what makes pit strategy so difficult. It's like calling an offense in the football game, but you're only calling it against one defense. So it's kind of a man-to-man matchup. In this situation, you're trying to guess what 15 or 20 other cars are going to call, and if you get it wrong, so right now you're on your scanner, you're listening to what everybody's trying to say. You might even have a couple engineers listening to other teams. You might have some key teams. If I'm the playoff cars of Sammy, Smith, Hemrick, Creed, and Clearman, I for sure assigned somebody each of those cars before this race started. You see everybody up, ready for action. That's Marty Lindley right there, the crew chief for Sam Mayer. And some of these drivers are getting this as an answer. Just do what the car in front of you doesn't do.
Yeah.
If he pits, you stay out. If he stays out, you pit.
You even go to the point of saying, hey, if 3 pit, you stay. If 4, you can get those instructions as well. You got to be counting cars as they're coming down pit road.
Let's listen in to Sheldon Creed's radio.
We may have to take a chance, you know what I mean? Even if we're the first one to pit road, we may drag a bunch behind us, but we're just so right on the cut line right now, you know what I'm saying?
I don't hate that call from Creed. I mean, he's running 13th, and my fear is, I think, on a normal race, I would say 16th to 17th is pitting. If I'm the 2 car, I am absolutely coming for tires here, Marty.
I know their teammates just made the right call, as you said. Maybe they should play that hand in Vegas next week. But right now, Marty Lindley is telling Sam Mayer, we're pitting. And they agree with the 2 team. They think they're going to drag everybody else down pit road as well.
Well, then if I'm the 8, I'm staying out from the 6th position, Josh Berry, because I'm in a must-win situation. The last thing I'm going to do is follow cars down pit road. I have to be opposite of the 1.
So we'll see who comes. And the 1 is going to come onto pit road. The leader of the race decides to come get tires. Kim.
And Parker Cluckerman, one of those drivers that debated and decided they will make a stop. Parker saying drive-off is still at premium. They'll go back on air pressures on these 4 fresh Goodyear tires they'll take, Dave.
Austin Hill on the 21 was running 5th. He was always going to come. Needs a little bit of adjustment, a little more turn needed, Marty.
Marty Lindley was right. They drug everybody down pit road. Cole Custer, bottom left of your screen, saying he's having a little bit of trouble on exit of the corner. They asked Sam Mayer, how hard have you been pushing that? Remember that radio conversation earlier? He said that was 90%, the hardest I've been all day long. But look at that, Cole Custer's team with the stop. They will gain the track position here on pit road. But the 27 and the 7 stayed out, Rick.
Yeah, a couple guys stayed out. We'll reset them when we come back.
Wild that both the SHR Fords are going to be the leaders on the restart, as it looks like Cole Custer and Riley Herbst will be 1-2. After winning the race off pit road, beating out Sam Mayer, who came in position number 1, leaves 3rd. We'll have to see exactly what the playoff cutoff battle will look like on those drivers right around the cut line on points, and where they will cycle out of the pit lane as well once the leaderboard gets updated at the start-finish line next time by. So, wild race here at the Charlotte Roval ensuing. Joanne C., thanks for the $20 super chat. Appreciate that laptop donation. I I could use that. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for being a supporter of the channel pretty much all season long, coming in for these live commentary streams, and appreciate that. It really it really will come in handy. That is a healthy donation. I can't say how much I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I won't get that till the end of the month, but it still comes in handy. Well, not like the end of the month. Usually around the 21st, depending on what day of the week that falls. If it's on the weekend or a business holiday, I won't get it until the following business day. But still waiting for that leaderboard to update. Obviously, the caution lap's a little bit longer on the road courses. We'll see who's going to be up in contention. Obviously, with Sam Mayer falling out of the lead and being in a must-win situation to make the next round of the playoffs, that is going to more than likely move Hemrick above the cutoff line as we run, assuming that there were no pit penalties that we have heard of, at least to this point. Easy Network, thanks for tuning in. This is why I don't understand why NASCAR does not use lights for the restart zone, too. Well, that's interesting. I don't know. I haven't really heard of that. Quit using. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Well, they usually don't use signs for the restart zone. It's usually just painted, but they move the restart zone. I don't understand why they don't use, or why they still use signage on tracks. Like, we see a sign caution, not every road course race, but like every road course race weekend. So, like, if you have all three series racing in the weekend, one of those three races is going to have a caution for a sign moving up onto the track. Like, this has happened every race since the Roval, not last year, but the year before, I feel like. I might have hyperbolized that a little bit, but it seems like it's about every NASCAR race weekend at a road course at this point.
Championship 4, race coverage on USA at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, strategist, we have Jeb Burton, who decided to stay out.
He had no choice. The 27's only option was to win this race. So I agree the numbers are against him. He's on old tires. Everything would say that the 7 should easily get by the 27, but you never know. We could see 2 or 3 wrecks, not a lot of restarts. I think it was the only option, Dave.
Certainly true. When I talked to crew chief Shane Whitbeck this morning, he told me we do not believe that we have a car that can win the race on outright speed, so maybe we'll have to try something. Listen to the radio.
I think this is the call. This is the only shot we have to make the next round, okay? He is the leader right now. Just do everything you can to get away. Do Jeff Burton's best restart right now.
Do Jeb Burton's best restart right now. You know, that's what Jeb's thinking, and he'll try to keep behind him as long as he can.
Yeah, one of the things that Jeb has done a great job of this year's restarts. If you think about what that team does, they are consistent, they finish races, and Jeb picks up spots on starts. It's going to be hard for him here with older tires, but that was 100% the right call for them.
His tires are old, but his car is not slow. We just saw on the graphic he finished in the top 10 in stage 1, and we saw throughout the race running very competitive laps. So will this clean air help him enough to be able to give him a bit more speed, a bit more grip? Can he get some luck from the calamity behind him that allows him to keep this track position?
Well, to add to it, I would have absolutely lost a bet that many cars would have pitted. I had a split field for sure. No doubt in my mind. 8 or 10 cars were going to stay out. We had basically none.
Right.
I know the 7 doesn't really count. He was just off pit road. I mean, you're right? But the Perkins and Burton are the ones that stayed out on old tires. Allgaier, as I said, they gambled and they hit 0 on the roulette wheel, absolutely perfect straight up, and they have the best position, the best tires. That's going to be the challenge for the 27. And then the 1 back there, he said he hasn't had to push his car. We're going to see what kind of pace the 1 has as we're going to see a restart with 8 to go.
You know, Jeb and his spotter, they've not been up front all day. They've probably not been paying attention to the restart zone. I believe they would have been better off being in that outside lane. I think you have to turn the car less. I think he could have got a better launch in that outside lane, especially with old tires.
Connor Mozak was having a good run, got caught speeding, so he's lost his track position here.
So now,
Pace car onto pit road. We're going to have 7 laps of racing to go. It'll be Justin Allgaier on the front row with Jeb Burton. Burton is the control car for this restart on the inside lane, but on older tires. Green flag back in the air. How quickly can Allgaier get around him and pull away? Can Sam Mayer, who is more than 40 points, I should say, below the cutoff line, get the win and get into it? Hard hit into the wall for Justin Allgaier and Jeb Burton as they go into the turn 1 fence. Burton pushed it too far into the corner. The 7 was on his outside. Heavy damage for Allgaier, which will take him out of a shot to win. And that opens the door up for the SHR Fords, who got away to the inside.
There's been an incident in turn 1. So this 27 has a bad restart, just on the old tires, spinning rear tires. He sails it down into turn 1. He's going right here. Before he ever gets to the apex of the corner, the back of the car steps out. He has to correct it, just try to save the car, and that's going to take him right into the door of the 7 of Allgaier. And man, hard impact. Perkins back there as well, makes contact with the wall.
And all of the playoff guys are kind of right behind him, right? We're watching the impact, but as we continue to watch it, you see the 48 get through, the 2 get through. Oof. Yeah, that's hard contact.
That's a really hard shot, flat side the car like that. Inside the car, that's going to be tough for any driver. It's just wild how many wrecks we see in turn 1.
I thought it was the restart up being on the oval, but this didn't change it.
Well, y'all made a great point that the 27 takes the inside, and they may have been a better off situation for them taking the outside. When he gets into the gas at the restart zone, spins the rear tires, trying to accelerate away. That allowed the 7 to match him at the start-finish line, then pull ahead. It forced Jeb to really charge the entry, probably more than he wanted to, unknowing how much grip he had in that car, what that car would do to perform in the turn in the braking zone. So he got a little bit behind on the restart because of where he was, the lane he chose, and that forced him to really have to get too aggressive on the entry to 1.
So to that point, Sam Mayer has the most experience of everyone starting on the front row, right? So he's going to get a shot at it here.
All right, so here's a replay of it. What we were discussing is, watch the 7 car versus the 27 car. The 7 on the outside, he has a straighter shot. He does not have to turn his car as much as the 27. Jeb, in my eyes, did a great job. He launches early. When he gets into the go restart zone, he gets there, boom, he's going. But that whole time, when he's leaving the corner, he's having to turn his car to the left more than the 7 is on the outside, stressing the rear tires more, and that got the 7 next to him, and now Jeb's got to kind of lunge into turn 1 deeper than he wants to try to keep the lead.
And a lot fresher tires on the 7 of Allgaier also allowed him to get back to the outside of that 27, and then just too hard into turn 1. Big hit though in the 7 of Allgaier. When he came onto pit road, he decided it was time to go behind the wall, and he's climbed out of that car. That helmet painted by his daughter Harper. Again, Allgaier is advancing into the next round with his win earlier in this round, so that guaranteed him a spot in the next round. He was running for the win of the race, which gives you 5 playoff points that he could have taken into that next round. So we see the points, and as they run.
That's as they run, but don't forget, Sam Mayer back there at 10th could easily win this race, currently running 2nd. And if he does that, then that red line moves up 1, right? Then it moves between Creed and Hemrick. So that's the challenge, is it's not just a points battle. It's a points battle not knowing how many will get in on points. So if you're a Clickerman, you're looking at this saying, we only need to find 3 points. But, if the 1 instantly becomes the leader, now all of a sudden you're 5 points behind, and you're behind another car. So it becomes a very challenging situation. It's going to happen in a blink of an eye here in the closing laps very quickly. Back to that restart, I actually think Sam Mayer, remember, he's been on the good end and the losing end of these restarts, so I think the 1 has the most experience of this new restart zone, Marty, and I think that'll be an advantage.
And that's a terrific point, Steve. Jonathan Toney, the crew chief for Cole Custer up front. There's a long debate about what they would do on the choose. Obviously, the right side, driver's right, is the most advantageous lane, but they're concerned if they give Cole Custer the inside, if they give Sam Mayer the inside, he would just restart and wash them up out of the racetrack. In fact, he told him a moment ago, he said, listen, 2 of the top 3 have to win this race to be able to advance to the next round. So the conservative route for Cole Custer would take the inside, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to take the inside for Cole Custer and give Sam Mayer the advantageous line. But, Jeff, I think their concern is they just don't want to be cleaned out by either the 1 or the 8, who knows they must win if they want to advance.
You just have to make your best choice. You cannot control what other people do. You have to do what you think is best, and you have to trust them, right? And there's nothing else you can do but focus on the launch. Get the launch right, and then the rest of it will take care of itself. That 8-car, Josh Berry in 3rd, he's in a must-win situation too, but he's in a tough spot right here. He does not have power steering. So earlier in the race, we learned that he had a problem. He got off course. Power steering had a problem there. Well, it hasn't gotten better. And so that is going to be a difficult task to get your car to point where you want to point and go where you want it to go at the speed that you want it without power steering is going to be a huge challenge for Josh.
Jeff Burton, and they continue to work on that car, again, the right side of that, getting into the 7 of Allgaier. So Sam Mayer has won twice already this year, and can he make it 3? And would this be that home run that gets him into the next round? Well, the first win came at Road America, and then the confidence started to build, and it wasn't long after that at Watkins Glen when he was able to capture his 2nd win. So 2 wins on his career, both coming at road courses, and now he's in a must-win position here at the Roval and looking to advance to the round of 8. Currently, he will restart 2nd.
I think we're getting to the choose right here. We'll see if everybody goes with what they said. Yep, so 0-0, as Marty reported, takes the inside. The 1 takes the outside, and I think the 1 is in a really, really, really good position.
We're going to be going green with 5 laps to go in this race. Before that happens, we're going to take our last ad break, so be sure to stay tuned for our finale or coverage of the finale of this race. Sam Mayer, Josh Berry in a must-win situation. We'll see if they can get it done on the other side. You're listening live to the Drive for the Cure 250 at the Charlotte Roval on KRC. Must-win situation for Mayer and Berry. Berry without any sort of power steering. Going to be difficult task for him from row 2 to get the win. Mayer, who's been the class of the field today, will be restarting in 2nd. He had a slow pit stop where both Herbst and Custer got around him. Good restart on that last restart, though, for Mayer to get by Riley Herbst. Josh Berry followed him up there as well to get the 3rd. Berry going to be on the inside of the 1st row for the restart. Or inside of row 2, for the restart. Custer chose the inside lane of row 1. Mayer on the outside of row 1, which will get him a good drive off of that first turn. Got to be able to stay with the 0-0, though, getting through the restart zone. Mayer's been in this situation, restarting on both the outside and the inside of the front row today, but the same also goes for Cole Custer. Get Burton back on the pit road again to make some repairs. We'll see if he returns for the finish of this race. We'll also keep an eye on those battles for the playoff cutoff line as these final 5 laps continue on. Green flag back in the air as they slide up off the turtles. Cole Custer trying to get the power down as quick as possible. Headed into that first turn where we saw trouble on the last restart. No trouble here. And Cole Custer going to have the lead into turn 2. Sam Mayer going to have to drop in line behind him and look to set him up quickly. Berry was able to get the 3rd in front of the 98 car. Can he keep up with the top 2? And Parker Kligerman up the inside, gaining a couple positions there, as well as Daniel Hemrick trying to progress themselves forward. As of right now, Hemrick has the last spot on points over Kligerman by 5, but that's with Sam Mayer in second. Custer locked into the playoffs with a lot of stage points in those first 2 stages already, as well as how good he ran through the first 2 races of the round. Closing in on a lap car a little bit further up ahead. Hopefully that car stays out of the way. It looks to be the 27 of Jeb Burton. Custer into the chicane right now. Closing in on Burton. Big hops off the turtles there for Custer. Burton stays on the apron and out of the way. The leader's going to get by to the outside. One car up against the outside wall now, headed into the chicane with severe damage. That would be Ryan Ellis of the 43. He's trying to limp into pit road as that goes on. Sam Mayer puts a lot of pressure on Cole Custer into the front stretch chicane. May have gotten to the back bumper, but it launches Cole Custer a little bit faster than him on the front stretch. Headed to turn 1, Mayer still putting the pressure on the 00 with 4 laps to go. Mayer and Custer battling for the race win. Mayer needs to get a win to advance to the next round. Put the bump and run to him into turn 2. Mayer goes for it. On the inside lane as they come off of turn 4, Custer's going to drag race him all the way down into 5. Now he's going to get out of the gas early, drop in line behind him. Mayer easily clear, looking to take control. Can Custer get to the back bumper of the 1 car again, or is it game over? With that pass, that now puts Hemrick below the cutoff line by just 1 point on Sheldon Creed. So now Creed has the last spot for the round of 8 of the playoffs as we run right now with Mayer in the lead and pulling away from Custer and Barry. Now Mayer just can't make a mistake for the final 3.5 laps, and he will advance with his 3rd win of the season. Sheldon Creed is in 10th. Daniel Hemrick in 6th, needs to pass 1 more car. And Parker Kligerman is 6 points below the cutoff line, running in 7th. He would basically have to win this race to advance. So the battle we're watching right now on screen is between Daniel Hemrick and Sheldon Creed. Kaz Gralla right in front of the 10 car of Daniel Hemrick, and Hemrick is looking to pass. He needs to make that pass happen in the next 3 laps if he wants to advance to the next round. Creed also closing in on the car in front of him, and that car would be Austin Hill in the 21. That is a teammate of Sheldon Creed. If needed, I do think Sheldon Creed will pass Austin Hill. Team orders may come into play there. Kligerman putting the bump to Hemrick. That's going to hurt Daniel Hemrick. Kligerman is going to get to the inside of the 10 car. As they battle side by side, Hemrick's going to lose that spot to Parker Kligerman. He's going to have to try to cross him over, and now Hemrick's in a position where he needs to gain 2 spots on Sheldon Creed. Maybe 3, considering Creed is going to have a good chance of passing the 21. Hill's got a line of cars in front of him. He could potentially pass and allow for Creed to follow him on through as well. Into the backstretch chicane goes the race leader of Sam Mayer. He's out to a 1.2 second advantage already over Cole Custer. Gains another 10th or 2, it looks like, during that backstretch chicane. Hemrick trying to get back underneath of Kligerman in that same area of the racetrack, and he wasn't able to do so. Kligerman gaps Hemrick. And Hemrick's hopes of advancing to the next round are starting to slowly slip away. He needs to pass 2 cars. Once Kligerman got around him, they are losing time to Kaz Gralla, and there are more cars now closing the gap on Hemrick from behind. John Hunter Nemechek in 8th place is within a couple car lengths, also looking to pass Hemrick. A triple screen battle going on right now as they show the race leader, Sam Mayer, pulling away at the front of the field. And the battles for position 6, make that 7th now, and 10th, with Creed and Hemrick on the racetrack. Shout out to Kaz Gralla running in the top 5 right now, looking to cap off a solid run. He's had a top 5 on a road course already this season, looking for another. 2-second lead now for Sam Mayer at the front of the field. Has really put a gap on Custer. 2 laps to go in this race. Into the backstretch chicane goes Sam Mayer. Once he gets to the last lap, which would be the white flag lap, then the next flag ends the race. And we will not have an overtime restart. which is going to make it extremely hard for Daniel Hemrick to pick up 2 more positions. He could also hope that Creed could lose 2 more spots, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case. Creed's got a full second difference on Sammy Smith and a second and a half back to Chandler Smith in 12th. Last lap for Sam Mayer. Creed just coming up to the start-finish line right now in 10th as well. Looking to advance. Battle for the win doesn't seem to be close enough, barring a major mistake. So Sam Mayer is going to be able to get that walk-off home run here in the bottom of the ninth needed to advance to the next round. The pit strategy of not taking stage points will work out because he will end up winning the race. Now, Hemrick and Kligerman are closing in on a couple other cars inside the top 5 here, so the battle for Hemrick to gain 2 more positions is not over yet. He is closing in. Gralla nearly bounced off the wall getting into oval turns 1 and 2. Parker Kligerman right behind him on the back bumper. And Daniel Hemrick still looking to pick up positions. Got driven away from by the 48. Kligerman going to challenge to the inside of Gralla into the backstretch chicane. Hemrick's got to run gains on both of them. Now into oval 3 and 4. Hemrick's going to have to try a dive. It's a do-or-die situation. He's got 2 positions ahead of him. He needs them both. As they work their way into the front stretch chicane, Hemrick's going to push it. Hemrick looking to the inside. Kligerman is on the inside of Gralla. They get together off the exit of the corner. 3 wide. Daniel Hemrick came close, but I don't think he got it. Oh my goodness. 3 wide at the line for Daniel Hemrick. He needed both positions, but I don't think he got it. Both Kligerman and Gralla made contact in the center of the front stretch chicane, which opened the door for Hemrick to get the drive off needed. They made the mistake in front of him. He made a great move, but if that start-finish line was closer to turn 1, he would have had him, but I think he just ran out of real estate. Still waiting on the unofficial results here. Creed has crossed the line in 10th as expected, and Hemrick was scored in 7th. Kligerman did get 5th on Gralla there at the end. But Daniel Hemrick will not advance to the round of 8 of the playoffs. He didn't get either one of those 2 spots. Kligerman by 1/1000th of a second beat Gralla for 5th. Unbelievable. By just 67/1000ths of a second, Parker Kligerman and Kaz Gralla will keep Daniel Hemrick out of the round of 8 of the playoffs. Hemrick was 67,000ths of a second, 600ths of a second, basically. 600ths of a second was the difference in Hemrick making it to the round of 8 and not. That was wild. Big bounce off the turtle, getting into the backstretch chicane for Kligerman caused the contact, which struggled for both the 26 and the 48 to get the drive off. The 10 got 3 wide to the bottom. He didn't miss it by much. Looking at the replay, it almost looked like Gralla beat Kligerman, but Kligerman did get him by 1,000th of a second. Virtue of timing and scoring there. But the most important battle there was for Daniel Hemrick. He needed the 2 spots, and he came up 600ths of a second short. Sam Mayer currently right now burning it down on the front stretch, following his 3rd win of his career. If he didn't get that win, Hemrick also would have been in by a couple points over Kligerman there, but obviously not the case with somebody below the cutoff line winning. We could see the same scenario happen tomorrow. We saw it happen last year with Christopher Bell winning at the Roval. Yeah, Easy Network says it in the chat there. Hemrick won the title 2 years ago by about a half a foot. And he misses the round of 8 this year by about that same margin. Sam Mayer celebrating on the front stretch. Here's an interview with your race winner.
Steve, now that we see the income, obviously hindsight 2020, but that pit stop, when they came at the caution with just about 10 laps to go in the race, everybody came.
Yeah, I was shocked everybody came, but I have to hand it to Marty Lindley. He never really judged. From everything we heard on the radio, he never went back and forth. He was stuck to his guns. We're going to put tires on it. Believed in this young driver. And Kim, his young driver, Sam Mayer, paid off those new tires by winning a must-win situation.
Look at the smile on this young driver's face. 3 road course wins this season, but this one the most important. You had to win to move on. You got it done. But that restart, 5 laps to go. Cole Custer got in front of you. What was going through your head? Take us through those laps.
Yeah, I knew we had time. Our car was so fast. It really felt unbeatable, just like Xfinity 10G. What a day. The good Lord, He works in mysterious ways, and He put us down, but He also taught me a lesson and brought me back up, and we kicked our tails today, and it just feels so great.
50 laps led. It was a dominant performance. What does that mean you guys have for the next round since you're moving on?
Yeah, bonus points feel great. Winning feels great. Winning solves everything. That's the name of the game. Getting into the shoutout, and I think this is our second chance moment. I think we can make something out of it. Huge thanks to all the people out here supporting us. The Xfinity side isn't as big as the Cup side, but winning still feels great.
So the win feels great. Is this, hands down, the most important win of your career?
I think so. We can go on and do great things because of this win. This obviously is the biggest win of the season. We love road courses. I guess I made you Elmadinger 2.0 or something.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Sam Mayer with the win that takes him into the round of 8 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs.
And one of the Junior Motorsports cars will be eliminated from those playoffs. That's Josh Berry. But now 2 with Allgaier and now Sam Mayer. 2 drivers that will fight for championship. You have the highs, obviously, of Sam Mayer and the lows of those drivers that didn't quite make it in. Sheldon Creed just above the line.
2-point cushion for Sheldon Creed to get in over Daniel Hemrick, but most importantly there at the end, we saw that battle for Hemrick. He had to pass 2 cars on the last lap, last set of corners. He came close. He got 3 wide to the line underneath them both, but just couldn't quite beat him to the start-finish line. The race was down into turn 1. He had it won. It was just a split second too late. In fact, 0.06 of a second too late was the difference there. And Hemrick making it to the round of 8 and not. We'll go through the full field finishing order and then that list of drivers who have advanced to the round of 8 as well. Margin to victory for Sam Mayer in today's race, 0.9 of a second. 5-lap shootout there at the end of the race. But honestly, considering how many laps he led and how dominant he looked throughout the middle portion of the race, the end of the race, he clearly had the best car, capitalized off of it. He leads 51 laps, gets the win, led 5 different times. Didn't have to win a stage to do it. Capitalized on that pit strategy by not taking the stage points, and it worked out for him because they got the win to advance to the round of 8 of the playoffs. Cole Custer led 4 laps today, 2 laps led for John Hunter Nemechek. He also won stage 2 on pit strategy. Those were the only 2 laps Nemechek led by staying out of the pits. Jeb Burton got 1 lap led in there on a late race restart, obviously, as you guys heard. And Justin Allgaier led 10 laps total today, also won stage 1 in the race. So both Nemechek and Allgaier get 1 playoff point advance into the next round, and Sam Mayer will get 5 points for advancing to the next round of the playoffs. Your full field finishing order looks like this, with Sam Mayer finishing in first, Cole Custer second, Josh Berry in third, Riley Herbst fourth, Kaz Grala ends up in fifth. They are scoring Grala now ahead of Kligerman, which it did look like Grala beat him at the line, so they have flip-flopped. Hemrick still in 7th, though, but Kaz Grala will finish 5th, Parker Kligerman 6th, Daniel Hemrick in 7th, 8th place for John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill 9th, and Sheldon Creed 10th. Sammy Smith in 11th, Chandler Smith in 12th, Ryan Seek 13th, 14th was Myatt Snyder, 15th for Alex LeMay, Jordan Taylor at 16th, Brendan Poole 17th, Stephen Parsons 18th, Roger Cruth 19th, and Josh Williams will end up in 20th. 21st place finish for Leland Honeyman, Parker Retzlaff 22nd, 23rd for Jeremy Clements, Connor Mozak 24th, and Josh Bilicki finishes 25th. Kyle Weatherman at 26th, Sage Karam 27th, Blaine Perkins 28th, Brandon Jones 29th, Anthony Alfredo finishes 30th, Joe Graff Jr. 31st, Kyle Seek 32nd, Alex Jeanette was the last car in the lead lap in 33rd, Jeb Burton with a 34th place finish, Connor Daly 35th, Ryan Ellis 36th, 4 laps down for him. Justin Allgaier out of the race there late, finishes 37th. Brett Moffitt, also DNF, finishing 38th. Only 2 DNFs out of the 38 cars that started this race today. 2 hours and 29 seconds total time of today's race. Average race speed of 76.94 miles per hour. I paused the stream, so if you're watching live, this interview already happened on NBC, but you guys will get to listen to some other interviews that we have from some of the other top finishers and some of those cutoff line drivers that barely made it, barely did not. Here's Daniel Hemrick standing with Dave Burns.
I don't know how much more he could have done. Second in the first stage, second in the second stage. Got your stage points. And did you know it was for everything at that last quarter?
Yeah, I did. Kind of saw it playing out there in front of me and saw the move the 40 was about to make. And I was in the best position I could be being out there. Those guys coming in there. And I haven't seen how close it was at the line, but I feel like I gave about the best effort I could to turn back underneath the 26 and just can't blow it short. And that's what it is. But before the day started, I said, be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, and we were defeated this round. So that's the way it goes. We carry on. I was in a hole for sure, there in Texas, and yeah, I hate these guys, but we had a long road ahead. It was just part of the journey, man. The journey makes the man. So looking forward to what's ahead. What's ahead of this race team. Looking forward to everything we have to do here for the rest of the season to go try to get Matt Colic a win and carry on next year with some momentum.
Daniel, as a champion, you know how hard this is to get. What do you think of the run that your team was able to put together for this first couple rounds?
Yeah, for sure, right? We did all but everything we had to do today. The one just did a little better, right? They came out and bottom of the seventh and hit a home run, and that's what you got to do in these situations. Obviously, I've been fortunate enough to be in the same situation and succeed, and today we didn't, but the battle's not over. We'll keep swinging. A couple more bases to go, try to get a win.
I have a feeling seeing Ren in your arms and Kenzie here and little one as well, you know it's important, don't you?
No doubt.
All right, Daniel Hemrick out of the playoffs, going to get wins now is on his mind because that's what's left for the 2023 season.
And his future also is advancing to the Cup Series next year, so he'll drive a colleague racing entry at the Cup Series level next year.
And I do want to give Hemrick a tip of the hat because he knew what was on the line, and I think it's very clear that he could have went in there and just shipped the 26, and he would have took the 48 with him, and he could have got those 2 points. But that's not how he wants to race. He made what I consider a very clean and classy move, still came 5 feet short. And I'll say the same thing about the 48. While he kind of dive-bombed the 26, that was a real racing pass, a bit of a desperate one, but by no means rough or inappropriate.
And I would say that whole point battle between the 48, the 10, the 2, they all brought some of their best today. They all ran in the top 10 consistently. Nobody really made a mistake. It just turned into a last lap, lunge there that he had a shot. But every one of these teams can be proud of the effort they brought today.
Take a look at point standings for the round of 8. So now
we'll read that off for you guys. So resetting the points following the start of the next round next week at Las Vegas. John Hunter Nemechek with 55 playoff points will be at the top of that list. Austin Hill, will be second with 39 playoff points. 35 playoff points for Justin Allgaier. And Sam Mayer going to be that first driver above the cutoff line with the win today. He'll be 2 points above Cole Custer for that final playoff spot for the championship 4 when we start the round at Vegas. Again, Custer will be minus 2 points. Chandler Smith will be minus 11 points in 6th. Sheldon Creed minus 12 points in 7th. And Sammy Smith will be minus 14 points, rounding out the 8-car field for that next round.
In part of the playoffs for this race team, we can still finish 5th in points, so that's a big achievement. I think I can be a better driver in 2024 than I was this year for them, and we can take these top 5s and make them top 3s and first places, and I think that's what we need to go out there and contend for a championship. But I feel like every move, aside from that one restart, the second restart, the first restart of the day, I felt like we were money. It's just not enough.
How about the perspective for this race team, Parker? You came in maybe not knowing if you can make the playoffs, and here you are just 4 points short of making it to the round of 8. Does that make it a successful year?
Yeah, I think, my brother texted me before this and said, hey, you've already won. And I felt like that when I got this ride at the beginning of the year, to be honest. After 9 years out or whatever, I've won in a lot of ways. But
I literally wanted to go do something super special, right? I just loved every moment of trying to make the playoffs, and then through this time period, I have absolutely just loved this amazing pressure to put under, this immense, constant idea that everything matters, everything's so important. I just have enjoyed that so much. So we're still going to take that energy in the next few races. We're going to finish fifth in points, but we'll be as fast as the Xfinity 10G. I never remember to say that, so now I'm going to learn that better in 2024.
There you go. So they wind up 4 points short of the round of 8.
4 points.
So went through pretty much all the race statistics for this one. The only other thing would have been that there were 4 cautions in today's race. 2 for incident, a debris caution, and then of course that stage end yellow back at stage 1. Stage 2 ended with a wreck a couple laps early from the 53 of Connor Daly, who did end up still getting to the finish, just ended up a lap down at the end there. So finishing all 67 laps today under regulation. We'll see if that'll be the same for tomorrow's Cup race. 109-lap event there for the Charlotte Roval. A round of 12 elimination race for the Cup side. Can't wait to bring you guys that flag-to-flag coverage. We'll begin our live stream at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon, and we will be back and better than ever again the following weekend for the Xfinity Series race at Las Vegas. The plan as of right now is for me to go to Vegas for the Cup race next weekend, but I still plan on doing live commentary for the Xfinity Series race on Saturday. So that will be the late update there. Appreciate all of your guys' support. Again, hit that like button if you guys haven't on the stream yet. Hit the subscribe button as well, as we're on the road to 5,000 subs here before the end of the 2023 season. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Go Blue. And I will see you back and better than ever again tomorrow.